Hi everyone, good evening. How are you all? Am I audible? If I am audible, use the chat box to interact. Good evening, everyone. You can use the chat box for interacting. Okay, I'm getting replies now. I can see you all are active now. Pratham, Raksha, Soham. How are you all doing? How are you all? Okay, everyone, you have to text me individually, not everyone or not to any other co-host, so that I can reply. Pratham, good to know that you are doing fine. I'm also doing fine. Rituraj, good evening. Okay, so Sakshi doing good. Okay, great. Okay, so let's start our today's session. Welcome to the today's session. Let's move. You already know about the program. So let's move on to the major part, that is the session hygiene rules. Majorly which is to be followed in the session, I'm highlighting those. You have to participate actively so that we can interact, and be quick when you are messaging so that we can interact at a good pace, because when I receive a lot of messages, I skip few of them, right? I cannot reply to all of them. Do not share any personal information or any sensitive information in the chat. Second thing, third thing, join the meeting with your own names. Do not use your laptop names or any other names. You have good names which are with you. Use that real name, and also keep a notebook and the pen with you to note down the important pointers. Because as you know, we note down the things, we remember that, right? So let's move forward with the today's session. So before we move, our agenda for the today is, we would be first doing the recap, whatever you have learned in the previous session. Then we will be today discussing about natural language processing, how natural language processing works, and how AI can see and create things, including a lot of demos, quizzes, and Q&A. Right? So, okay, I can see one student saying, "Ma'am, आवाज नहीं आ रही." Am I audible to others, or is it the problem only for a one student? Others, please let me know. Am I audible to everyone? Okay. Okay, I can see a lot of yes. Okay, so the further one, that was Soham. Soham, please check your internet connection. There might be issue from your end, as others can hear me. Okay. So let's move forward. First ritual of our sessions is, you have to quickly scan this form, this QR code, and fill the form. Once done, mention done in the chat. This is to know how much you know about the session before we are discussing about it, and also this is sort of your attendance form. So scan the QR code, fill it, and let me know once done in the chat. Once done, mention done in the chat. Then we will move forward, waiting for 30 seconds for everyone to fill out the form. Okay, Najma has done. Others, be quick. So some of you were asking about the link. So the link is in the chat. You can, whoever is not able to scan can use the link to fill the form. Okay, I can see a lot of done. Okay, Raksha has shared the link. You can go through the link. Okay, still, new students have joined. I'm still pausing for 30 more seconds so that everyone can scan the form and fill out their attendance. Then we can move forward with the session. Okay, till then I can see others have done. Rest of you also, please complete it. Fiza, right, the classes are on alternate days. You had the class one day prior on 11th. Now you are having on 13th. Okay, rest of you who have joined right now. Pratham, yes, you are right. It is attendance come your knowledge based form. It is both. Same would be done at the end of the session. That is your inline form. Done, done. Okay. I can see now a lot of people has done. So let's move forward. So let us take few minutes to recall what we have learned in a previous session. So first thing which we learned was deep learning. So I want to know from you all, what is deep learning? In one line, what you understood about deep learning? In the last test session, we have gone through our major topic, deep learning. In one line, mention in the chat what is deep learning or what you understand by deep learning. Let me see the responses. Pratham, it is both ways. And don't worry about the attendance now. Focus on the session. Everyone, what do you understand about deep learning? In one line. Ruturaj. Wherein we use LLMs. Okay. What else? What else? Others. Others are blank. You guys don't remember what you learned in the previous session. Okay, so let me recap it for you. So deep learning is a part of AI, or we can say artificial intelligence, which uses machines to learn patterns from data instead of following the fixed rules. So Pratham, right, it is a subset of machine learning, or we can say it is a part of AI, right? So in traditional programming, we used to follow the fixed rules, but in deep learning, the machine learns not from the rules but from the patterns. So in that, we provide large amounts of data, and the system learns from the data on its own, right? So okay, so this is what deep learning was. Now my next question: what was artificial neural network? What was artificial neural network? This was the second thing which we discussed. Okay, Snamaria says, Stephen, where a machine uses neural network to understand complex data like a human brain, right? Others, what do you understand by new artificial neural network, or in short, ANN? Okay, so I can see that it is similar to human brain. Yes, Rituraj, it is similar to human neural network with complex math functions, right? That math functions are at the back end. So basically, it is a neural network which is inspired by the human brain, which works like our brain, and that has neurons which process the information artificially, and every neuron is connected with one another to process the data. What Pratham says, inspired by human brain, right? Sandesh says brains like layers of artificial neuron. Right, Sandesh. Right, Pratham. You all are right. So in that, how many layers we have in a neural network? Tell me how many layers we have in the neural network. Be fast. Stephen says three. Name the three layers. Name the three layers we have in the neural network. Name the three layers we have. Fast, be quick. Okay, let me see the chart. Pratham says input, output, hidden. Right, Pratham. Rituraj says input, output, input layer, hidden layer, output layer. Right, so we have three types of layers overall, which helps us in the flow of information. One is input, then we have the hidden layer, then we have the output layer. So if we want to process a image, we give it to the input layer, which receives the information as the pixels in the form of numbers. In hidden layers, the features are extracted, and then the output layer gives us the final result, right? So let's move on to the third and the last part. Similarly, we discussed about CNN, we discussed about RNN, right? Okay, tell me one thing. What is the difference between RNN and LSTM? What is the last question? What is the difference between RNN and LSTM? In short, be quick. I want to know you guys remember or not. What is the difference between RNN and LSTM? Okay. So let me recap it for you that RNN was when we want to process any sequential data, we were using RNN networks. And what was the limitation of RNN? That it was not able to process large sentences or large volume of data. So in that case, Sandesh says memory, right? So we have a memory concept in RNN and LSTM. So when there was a limitation of RNN, LSTM was introduced. That was long short-term memory, which the network which can store large data or large sentences and then gives you the prediction for the next word. That was RNN and LSTM. And the last we discovered the real world applications like image recognition was one of them. Image classification was there. Uh, Unlocking of a phone using face recognition. That is also deep learning, right? Similarly, when we use speech recognition, that is also deep learning. When we interact with voice through Google Assistant, through Siri, or any AI assistant, right? Now, third was your NLP also. How NLP is a real world application, we will see this in the today's session. Right? So everyone, so we have completed with the recap. Now let's do a small fun activity to check how well you have understood the concepts. So I'm moving on to a riddle where I will read few clues and based on that you need to give me the correct answers, right? So listen carefully and be quick in the chat when you are answering. So let's go to the first one. Who am I? Be quick for answering. I learn from huge amounts of data. I don't follow fixed rules. I automatically find patterns like the human brain. A, B, or C. Stephen says B. Prithviraj says deep learning. Pratham says B. Stephen says deep learning. Raksha says B. Let me see other answers. Soham says B. Great. Bhavna says B. Najma says B. Okay, so I'm getting a majority for the B. Rupa also says B. B, B, B. Okay, so majority of the people have answered. I can see a lot of answers now. Vaibhav, Vindushri, Gayatri, all have mentioned B for this. So let's see. So the answer is deep learning only. That is B because this is where we process the huge amount of data. It is unlike our traditional programming where we use fixed rules, right? So let's move on to the next. So here now we have the fill in the blanks. The statement is deep learning automatically learns dash from raw data instead of following manual rules. So you have A as emotions, objects, patterns, speed. So I got first answer from Sandesh, that is C. Stephen says C, patterns. Raksha says C. Pratham has also answered. Manish has also answered. Okay. So I can see a lot of Yogita has also answered C. Rupa says C. Okay, so majority of you are answering C, that is patterns. So let's see. So the answer is C because deep learning systems analyze the raw data such as images, text, sound and identify the patterns within the text, right? So let's move on to the third one. You have to decode the word. You have to decode the word. So this is a jumbled letters. Tell me when you fix this, what word is it forming? Let me see the chat. Sandesh has answered again first. Ruturaj has also answered. Raksha has also answered. Raksha, the spelling is wrong. Rupa has also answered it correctly. Yogita, your answer is also correct. Bhavna has answered. Sakshi has answered. Nikita has answered it correctly. Prachi, your answer is wrong. Indushri, your spelling is not correct. Vaibhav answered it correctly. Great. So let's see the answer. The answer is neuron. So the ones who have answered it incorrect, better luck next time. Your spelling was incorrect. So when you are answering something, you have to see the spelling also. What was the purpose of this decode game, right? So what are neurons basically, which is the basic unit of our human brain, right? So our brain contains billions of neurons, which is helping us to think, make decisions, and helps us to react to something. If we touch any hot object, our neurons helps us to uh, move away our hand from the hot object, right? So, and our ANN are similar to these artificial neurons. Now, let's move on to a scenario based question. Let's see how you can solve it. A company wants to build a system that can recognize faces from thousands of images with different lighting and angles. Which algorithm we should use for it? Rule based or deep learning? Rituraj has answered it correctly. Yogita has answered it correctly. Vaibhav has answered it correctly. Let me see others also. Vivo has joined with the laptop's name. Join it with your own real name. Manju says rule based. Okay. Others have mentioned deep learning. Fiza says deep learning. Stephen says deep learning. Akansha says deep learning. B. Pratham says deep learning. Najma says A, rule based. Okay. Sandesh says B, deep learning. Okay. So Manish says A, rule based. Okay. Raksha says A, rule based. Okay. Soham says B. So basically, let's check the answer. Here the answer is deep learning. Why? Because it can analyze the thousands of images and automatically learn the facial features such as shape, structure, or patterns. They can means deep learning is the model which can handle variations like lightning or angles because it is learning automatically from the data. We are not giving any fixed rules. But if whoever has answered rule based programming is only used when a fixed instructions can work for your scenario. But when we are processing multiple images, recognizing faces, there can be lightning, different angles, right? In that, we cannot give different rules. That that is where deep learning comes into play, right? So excellent work. Now, through these activities, riddles, we have completed and applied our understanding of deep learning in different ways, right? So we are now going to a live demonstration where we will, a fun demonstration plus a live demonstration of where we will see a game which is based on NLP. Now we are shifting our concern towards NLP. What is NLP basically? The full form is natural language processing. What it is, we will see after this. So scan this QR code. Once done, mention done in the chat. Let me share the link also. Okay. I'm sharing the link for the ones. Okay. One scan mention done in the chat so that I can tell you what we have to do in this. Once you have scanned, mention done in the chat. Everyone done? Let me show this QR again. Have you done scanning? Raksha says done. Others? What about others? Okay, now I can see others also. Done. Okay. So what we have to do here, you can see there is a space where you can write something. What you have to do, you have to arrange these three blocks in the same positions in the third stand. This is the left, this is the middle, this is the right. So tell me the first instruction you will give. Our final answer should be here you have the you want the same pattern in the third stand. So what you will do? Tell me first thing. You have to tell in the chat red to the right. Okay. So it is already written. Move the red disk to the right peg. I received this input from Stephen. So let me, when you click enter, it will automatically move. Okay, done. What else? Second. So we have done the first step. What is the second step? What is the second step? Let me check the responses for others also. Green to the middle. Stephen says green to the middle. Rituraj says okay. Let me check other responses also. Green to second. Nikita says okay. So I would write move the green disk to the middle bit. Okay, what next? What should be the third one? Yogita has answered separately. She says green to the red. Okay, I have gone with the majority. Red to the second. Now Nikita says red to the second. Others, tell me. Red on the middle, on the green. Okay. Stephen says red on the green now. So let's go with this. Three people have answered green, red on the middle one. Okay. Now what else? Be quick in the chat. Now blue to the three, blue to the three, blue to third. Okay. Majority is answering blue to the third, blue to the not third, it is the right. If you will write third and if you try it, it will say it cannot recognize the third because there is no third mentioned, right? Now what next? What next? Red on the left, red to the first, red to the left pick. Okay. Now it is quite sorted. So let me go with it. Green to the right, and then we can see red to the left. So, done everyone? Everyone solved this? Everyone has solved this. Yogita says done. So this is basically the towers of Hanoi command system. Now this whole system which we did, we solved a basic puzzle or basic riddle you can say. Let's move on to the PPT again. Then we will discuss. So what was this all about? So in short, this demo was based on the NLP, wherein we were not giving the commands in any system language or any machine language. What we were doing, we were writing simple English language, right? And by introducing a natural language, we solved a particular riddle. Now, let's move on to, let me ask you a simple question. How many of you send messages on WhatsApp every day? How many of you send messages on WhatsApp every day? Let me see. Webber says me. Others. Rupa says me. Let me see others' replies. Tanu says me. Indushri says, okay, Indushri has answered earlier. Sandesh says me. I do. Okay. So we can see almost all of us go on the WhatsApp, we send messages, we receive messages. Okay. How many of you check emails on daily basis? How many of you check emails on daily basis? Tell me that. Raksha says me too. Okay. Nikita says me. Rituraj says I do. That is a good habit of checking your emails. Raksha says me too. Okay. So, point of telling you this is what we are exactly doing here, checking the emails, sending the emails, receiving the messages, or sending the messages, or watching YouTube. We all are generating and consuming huge amount of text every single day, right? And sometimes without even knowing or realizing it, that we are generating the data. And this brings us to the important concept of explosion of text data, wherein we are generating a lot of data on daily basis, and to handle that amount of data, we have the concept of natural language processing. So herein we will see that the data we are generating as humans, we are receiving as humans, how machines are understanding that data, right? That is the main purpose of our today's session. So let's move forward. So this is what we were discussing right now. That is the explosion of text data. Every second, massive amount of text data are created across the world. For example, your WhatsApp messages, your emails, your tweets, or if you are posting something on social media, or you are even scrolling through the social media, your YouTube comments, or your customer feedback. Right now also, you are looking at the screen. You are consuming some data. If you are not generating, if I am speaking, I am generating some data, right? So millions of people are constantly typing, sharing opinions, asking questions. So language data is growing extremely fast, and without us realizing that it is growing so fast. When we wake up in the morning, we check our phones, we send messages, we don't realize what we are doing. At the back end, we are generating the data, right? So, like, imagine a popular company that sells products online every day. What kind of data they receive? What do you think? There is a popular company that sells products online. So, what kind of data they receive? What do you think? What do you think? What kind of data they receive? Answer in the chat first. Himanshi has a query. Your class was skipped. No worries, Himanshi. This is a new topic. You can focus on this now, and you can refer the LMS for your previous session. Everyone, tell me. Raksha says messages. Ruturaj says transaction logs, shipment logs, etc. Okay. Manish says information. Manish, I am asking what kind of information? I know information, but what kind of information? That is a major question. Okay, let me go on the top of the chat. Pratham says feedback text, feedback text. Okay. Stephen says customer preference. Right. Sandesh says customer reviews and questions, right? Okay, so we can consider overall thousands of customer queries, right? Customer complaints, product reviews, feedback messages, and support requests, right? Now think about this. Can humans, tell me honestly, can humans manually read and analyze all this text every day? Yes or no? Sandesh says no. Stephen says no. Pratham says no. Okay. So I can see a lot of possible but extremely tedious. It is possible, but that depends upon the company size. Again, I would say if your company is at a very startup stage and you are receiving only 100, 200 queries, that is fine. But if you talk about big companies, MNCs, Myntra, Amazon, you can see lakhs of people are sending queries, lakhs of people are giving reviews on daily basis, on minute basis, not also on daily basis, right? So to handle this amount of data, read that amount of data and reply to get back to the customers is very difficult to do manually. It would take too much time, effort, and resources also, right? So to handle this huge amount of language data, we are using natural language processing, right? So NLP, how it is helping? It is helping uh, computers basically to understand, to read the large amount of, you can say, text messages, understanding the meaning of it, identifying the important information out of it, and also automating the decision making. We will see in the further how it is doing that, right? Now example of it is like company analyze customer reviews automatically, right? But at the very first instant, who replies to our queries? Who replies? Not a human. Chatbot, right? So chatbot respond to the customer queries instantly. Now then, that queries according to the type of query, it is either continue to the chatbot or given to a human, right? So all of this is only possible where NLP is coming into play. So the bridge between our human language and the computer language is filled using NLP, right? So one more thing. What do you think the computer, as seen on the screen, as I am speaking English, some of you may speak Tamil, some of you may speak Hindi, right? You may have different languages. You can only understand me when you know my language or I know your language, right? But here, the human language is different. That is text, speech, emotions, other things. But what is computer language? Computer language is just numbers, that is zeros and ones, right? Or it is programming language. So when we talk in general terms, if I am explaining you this slide, I cannot go through I won't give you a code, or I won't speak a code to make you understand this, right? Or I won't speak in zero and one language, right? But if I want to make computer understand what I am speaking, I have to convert it to zero and ones or into the coding format. So how it can be done? Using the NLP. That is why we say it is filling the gap between computer and the human language. Now let's see, why is language hard for computers? Why you think language is hard for computers? I will show the slide later on. You tell me first. Why is language hard for computers? Why is human language hard for computers? Ambiguity majorly, great. Himanshi has answered previously. Okay, this is for the previous question. Ruturaj says ambiguity. Others, what do you think? Why it is difficult? Sandesh says complex, right? What else? What do you think? Why it is difficult? Why is language hard for computers? Let me see other responses. It cannot understand the emotions, Himanshi says. Pratham says ambiguity and memory. Stephen says because computer only knows zeros and ones. Rituraj, you are correct. Context is required. So all of you are correct to some extent. Now let me go to the next slide. So basically, We also know that our in our basic language, in our human language, we what we are using effortlessly every day, but still that language is not used every day by computers, so that becomes difficult for the computer to understand. Now, why? First thing is complexity. What is complexity? Basically, our language is not, it has a structure, but it is not fixed, right? Means there is a structure in which we speak, but that structure is not fixed. Words can have multiple meanings, same word can have different meanings, and that meaning would depend upon the context, right? If I speak bat, now the bat can have two meanings. I saw a bat fly at the cave at dusk, right? So here I saw a bat fly. What bat means here? What do you think? What bat means here? Tell me in the chat. If I say I saw a bird fly out of the cave, so what bat means here? And what is the other meaning of bat? Ruturaj says mammal, right? And what is the other meaning of bat we can have? Sandesh says the mammal, okay. What we can have the second meaning of bat? Okay, Sandesh says, let me, let me open sport bat. Right, Sandesh, you are right. So, as mentioned, if I say I saw a bat fly out of the cave, that is referring to a mammal. But if I say uh, the baseball player picked up his favorite bat before heading to the ground, right? So here bat means the sports bat. Now that is where you can see that same word can have different meanings, and how we understand is using the context of the whole sentence, right? So similar words we have is bark, date, write, run, and there are new words, new slangs and idioms which emerge constantly. So computers cannot rely on the fixed dictionaries because they are emerging. We can have a slang which is in trend right now in market. It could be anything. So that computer cannot understand because that is not from a fixed, you can say fixed dictionary, right? So human language has a structure, but human language is complex. It is constantly evolving. It is context dependent. This is why natural language is hard for computers to understand. So we cannot give computers the rules and expect them to always give us get it right, right? So because there is too much variation. Now we have understood that why it is hard for computers. Let's move on to what natural language basically is. Natural language is, it is very basic. We already know the language we use daily to communicate with others, right? It could include the written language such as English, Tamil, Hindi, Punjabi, or any other you use, right? Or we use it in text, emails, voice, social media posts, or what we are speaking. That is also a type of language, natural language, right? So, what is NLP now? We know what is natural language, right? What is NLP now? What do you think? Everyone in the chat. What is NLP? We discussed what is natural language. Now tell me what is natural language processing. Rituraj says natural language processing. Okay, I know the full form. What it is actually. Himanshi says natural language for computer. Okay, what else? I can see a few new names in the chat. Okay, let me see that. Okay, Daniel says the way computer process natural language. Right, Daniel, you were correct. Sakshi says which processes the natural language and make understandable to computers. Okay, that is also correct. Sandesh says breaking down and binary conversion of human language. Okay, so you can see right now I asked a simple definition of what is natural language, and we got different ways in which you are expressing the definition of a single concept, right? So we cannot expect computer to understand so much of variability, right? So natural language processing is processing of natural language via computers. So let's see what it is. It is basically a technology which is helping us to process, or which is helping computers to process our human language. Now the examples you can see, that is the chat GPT conversions, Google Translate, or you can say Siri voice assistants, or Google Alexa voice assistant, customer service chatbots. These are all the natural language NLP, you can say, applications, right? So let's move forward. So why do we need NLP? We have discussed this multiple times. You tell me, why do we need NLP? We have discussed it right now. What do you think? Why do we need NLP? In the chat, everyone. We have discussed it right now. Imanshi says for solution. Okay. What is the problem? Himanshi, if you say the solution for solution, you have to highlight the problem also. Arjun says it enables computers to understand, interpret, and generate human language, bridging the gap between human communication and computer understanding. Great definition, Arjun. Webber says translator between human and computers, basically. Okay, Pramod says communicate with machine easily. Okay, great. Ruturaj says so that even people with no tech background can get my complex tasks done. Right? Stephen says so that humans can communicate with machines easily. Okay, and I can say more replies also. So basically, as we discussed, the problem, what problem we have? The problem is humans communicate in natural language, but computers understand numbers, code, and data, right? And the challenge is to make computer understand the meaning, context, and intent from human language. So what solution we have for it? That is the natural language processing, which bridges the gap between human language and computer understanding, and allowing the machines to read, interpret, and respond intelligently. This is what powers the chatbots, translators, voice assistants, and there are many more applications, right? So let's move forward. So first you tell me, we have discussed what NLP is in terms of concept, and as I have mentioned multiple applications of NLP already, it is already a part of your life. You tell me uh, one or two examples where you see NLP in your daily life. Tell me one or two examples where you see NLP in your daily life. Stephen says AI assistant. Okay. Webber says AI chatbot. Okay. So where you see AI chatbot? In which application which you use? Give me one application where you use it in your daily life. Chat GPT promote says okay, right? Daniel says Gemini. Great. Webber says Perplexity Gemini. Okay. Stephen says Alexa Siri. Great. What else? Okay. Have you seen that Google, or when you are typing something via your keyboard on your phones, your next word is automatically predicted? Mhm. Does that happen to you also? Your next word is automatically predicted. Or when you start searching something on Google, it starts giving predictions on what you are typing. If you write what is, it will start giving next some suggestions, predictions. I can see yes, yes in the chat. Tanu has given the example for the previous one as Meta. Great, right? So Ruturaj says yes. That happens. So that is also one of the application where NLP is used, because how it is understanding. If I say I want to eat, if I write on the chat I want to eat, so you will get only suggestions: pizza, burger, food, or something related to eating, right? You won't get computer, phone, laptop. You won't get such suggestions. So what do you think? What machine is doing? It is seeing what you have mentioned. It is understanding the context of the word you have written, and then giving you the suggestions. So when Google is predicting what you are typing, when website chatbots gives you instant responses, or your voice assistants, as you mentioned, Alexa, Siri, right? It understand your commands. Or when apps give you the instant language translation, that is the daily life examples what we see as the applications of NLP. So NLP is everywhere around us, which is helping the communication better between the humans and the machines, right? So we will go into the depth of it, how it is being done. Let's move on to this. These were the small applications that was which we discussed right now: search suggestions, website chatbots, voice assistants, and language translators. Why businesses need NLP? As we discussed, one example of a company, product company who is running online, you mentioned few responses: customer feedback, customer reviews, or you can say transaction log. Some of you mentioned that also, right? So if we are generating, and we are as a single human is consuming and generating huge amount of data, think about the companies. They are dealing with huge amount of text data. It could be queries, feedback, reviews, online searches, everything, right? Okay, tell me one thing. If you face, आपको कोई issue आता है, if you face any issue on Zomato, what do you do? What do you do the first thing? If, for example, you are using a Zomato app and you face any issue in your order, or while placing the order, or you can say your payment gets stuck, what do you do at the very first instant? Rituraj says customer support. What others do? Rupa says customer care. Okay. Sandesh says customer care. Bo- Bobola says customer square. Pramod says chat support. Tanu says report. Okay. So your chat support, report, customer care, everything. Whenever you click on the help or your contact support, these are the buttons we see on the Zomato app, right? So when you click on that, you interact with the bot or you interact with a human. What happens in that first section? Do you interact with a human or you interact with a bot? Sandesh says bot, Rupa says bot. Okay, I can see a lot of replies. Okay, Daniel says restart. Sakshi says we give feedback to customer care, right? Ruturaj, you are correct. So Stephen says for handling that, you ask ChatGPT. But if you are using some application, your problem cannot be solved from ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give you the steps to reach out to the support team only, Stephen, right? So when you reach out to the support team, you interact with a bot at the very first. And when your query is out of the box, you get multiple buttons. When you click on help, then you are redirected to a bot. You have multiple options. If your query is listed in that option, you select that, then you are followed through the different options and you get a query resolution. If your query is listed in the boat, or you can say in the solutions of the boat, right? But in case it cannot be resolved with the boat, what you get at the end, you get a option: do you want to connect to a agent or not, right? At the end, we get an option if your query is resolved or you want to get connected to an agent. Now, what happens is at the end, now most of the queries, we can say that if I am receiving 100 queries, the layman queries, or you can say low level queries, the bot is able to resolve, right? We don't need a agent for that. An agent is working on some other important task. So in that case, what is happening? Your manual handling of all this information is saved. Your time is saved, right? So automatically what happens is your agent can work on major tasks, and these small tasks, or you can say small queries, which can be automatically fed to a bot, that the bot can answer. It is handled with that approach, right? Ruturaj says, but ma'am, the bot seems to only use simple if else statements. That that you're correct. That is not if else statements. If you are writing, there is Ruturaj, if you can know, means if you have used different applications, in some boards it is simple 3 4 options given, right? And if you select other, in case of other, you can write your query also. In that case, when it is understanding your queries, for example, if I write, I have a query of payment, right? If I write that, so it gives you the all the docs or the information which is fed into the board related to payments, and it says you can refer to this doc for your issue. That is what happens. So, Rituraj, you are somewhat correct, but I would say one application contains multiple models. That is your deep learning, your machine learning, your NLP. So, NLP is there, and what you are saying is also somewhat correct. Hope I have answered. Now, let's move on to the next thing. For example, what we were discussing is, so businessman uses NLP for important applications, as in like search engines use NLP for better results. As you know, search engine optimization is one of the skill which business, the people who are running startups, business, or their own any application, they learn that, right? Similarly, fraud detection. It helps, NLP helps to identify the suspicious messages, right? For customer support, chatbots are there. For customer feedback analysis, what company do? They collect your reviews or your feedbacks through survey forms or through your input, and then what they do, they try to understand or do the analysis on that. So that is not fixed, that if I am giving a review in terms of text, my text input could be different from your text input in terms of feedback, right? But still they are able, using the chatbots or different you can say NLP applications, they are able to process your feedback effectively. Similarly, in Instagram, we automatically get a warning towards some sensitive information or sensitive content, or there is some inappropriate or violent content, right? So overall we can say NLP is helping to automate the responses or automate the things, improving the efficiency and making better decisions by understanding the human language at a good scale, right? So let's move on to our next part. What is making NLP powerful, which we discussed. Like NLP powerful है क्योंकि we can say humans और machines के बीच में, first of all, as we discussed, communication को faster और easier बना रहे हैं, right? Or we can say more intelligent बना देता है. Now think, earlier what we used to do is we were learning computers. Now computers are learning us. पहले हम क्या करते थे? कंप्यूटर्स को हम समझते थे. अब कंप्यूटर्स हमें समझ रहा है, right? So let's explore this step by step. How many of you have seen? We have discussed that. Let's not waste much time on this. We have discussed how your chatbots are working, how customer queries are moving on. So let's move further. So first thing, it is supporting your communication, faster communication, as we saw in the chatbot. Task automation using some agents or auto completion. It is improving the customer experience, customer satisfaction level also. Then fourth point is real time understanding. How real time understanding? Because if, for example, give one application of real time understanding, give one application of NLP in which your machine is able to understand your language in real time. Give one application. It's very easy. We have discussed this. Okay, I have got ChatGPT, Gemini. Okay, what else? ChatGPT Live. Let me see other responses also. Pratham says chatbots. Stephen says cloud. Okay. Sandesh says Grok. Okay, why you means see your thinking is you always go on to the examples of ChatGPT, Gemini. Go with the very basic examples to understand what is going around you. Your Google translation, or when you are using YouTube through your voice assistants, or you can say you are searching something through Google using your voice. It is a very common example of your real time understanding of your language, wherein you are not writing your language through text or something, you are just speaking, and computer or the system is understanding the way you are speaking or what you are speaking or in which language you are speaking, right? So that is one of the example of your real time understanding of a machine, understanding you of a machine, right? Then multilingual support means, if for example, if uh you don't under we are watching some YouTube content, if I don't understand Hindi, what I can do, I will translate it to English. Wh- what else? Multilingual means different language support. Multilingual basically means, for example, if I go to Germany, I don't know how to speak Germany, but all the instructions there given is in German language. So what I can do, I can scan it and I can convert it to a English language or a Hindi language using different applications or using Google itself, right? So it gives us, NLP applications gives us the multilingual support, means it is breaking the barrier of the language between us. If you are not understanding any of my word, what you will go and search, translate that word into the Hindi. If you don't know English properly, that you can do, right? So that is only possible because of the multilingual support. And also your all the personalized services, your Spotify recommendations, your Netflix recommendations, your tailored user experiences, your personalized services, basically I would say, that is somewhat using, not solely that are based on NLP, but they are somewhat using NLP at the back end, right? So let's move forward. How does NLP work? Now let's see how does basically NLP work. Now let's understand step by step. First thing, we give the human input. Now human input can be in any form. Either it could be a text or either it could be a speech, right? Second thing, once the human input is done, what is the second thing? It computer क्या करता है? Process करता है उसको, right? Analyze करता है language को. We will see how it you can say processes, how it analyze. That we will see in the further session. Third thing, what it do is understanding, extracting the meaning of whatever text or whatever input is being processed. And fourth thing is the response. It gives us the, what it gives us? It gives us the output, right? Now let's move on to the further. First thing, whenever we give any input or we have any data with us, we have any information with us, what is the first thing we do in that? Do you think the whole information, if I fetch any data from Amazon, what do you think? The whole data will be important to me? Or I need to extract the important information from it? What do you think? Only the important. Sandesh says, okay, Pramod has replied, my keypad knows words before I type. Pramod, that is the application of NLP only. Ruturaj, for the current question, asks extract useful information, right? Okay, let me see other responses. Sakshi says extract only important. Okay, you means because our irrelevant information is not needed, right? So instead of reading the entire document like humans, what does system do? It scans the content and highlight the key information which is carrying some meaning. Now it focuses on relevant words, terms, keywords, important parts only. Now, first of all, like NLP automatically can find names, places, dates, राइट, ऑटोमेटिकली आइडेंटिफाई करता है। कैसे करता है वो हम फर्दर क्लास अभी सेशन में देखेंगे, बट वो करता क्या है, वी आर डिस्कसिंग दैट, राइट। जैसे अगर इफ आई गिव यू दैट राहुल इज गोइंग टू लंदन, so NLP can automatically define Rahul is a name of a person, London is a name of a place, that is a location. On uh, on you can say 23rd March 2026. So NLP application would automatically know that 23 March 2026 is a date, right? Now, third thing, what is extracting the important information is when we are converting our unstructured data into the structured. Now, as I said, when we are extracting or downloading or when we are getting a data from anywhere, from any website, from any manager, from any person, that is first of all is a raw data. Raw data means that is not clean, right? That can contain unnecessary information, so we need to extract the important information, and also it is an unstructured format. What is unstructured? What do you understand by unstructured format? Tell me in the chat. What do you understand by unstructured format? Let me see. Pramod says handwritten. Okay. Soham says no settled data. Okay. What else? What do you understand by unstructured data? Unstructured data basically means when that is what is structured? When a data is arranged into tables, rows, columns, or into proper formatted form, right? And unstructured is like audio files, video files, that is unstructured, right? So you can say raw text like messages, your social media posts, that does not follow a fixed format, that is unstructured, and which makes the machine analysis difficult. So what NLP does is it organizes this information into different categories, into labels, and make it into the structure format so that machine can understand. And the fourth part is it helps in analysis of the large documents quickly by following a proper format, by finding the meaningful patterns into the text. So first step is human data input and extracting the important information from that. Second challenge we have with the NLP is ambiguity, which we discussed, right? Because one sentence can have multiple meanings, one word can have different meanings in different sentences. Humans, because humans are using context, right? So let's play a detective game wherein I would show you some words uh, which is used in different situations. And what is your task? Your task is to identify the correct meaning using the context, right? Now, one word can have multiple meanings, and understanding the surrounding sentence is important to interpret it correctly, right? So, let's see the first one. Okay, tell me for the sentence A first. The word is bank. The sentence A is she sat near the bank and watched the water. What is bank meaning here in the first one? What is the meaning of bank in the first one? Sandesh says the river for the first one. Beside river. Pratham says, Ruturaj says riverside. Stephen says river. And what about the second? John has answered both river bank and bank the monetary building. Pratham has answered for the both. Okay, let's see others also. Sohan says for the second ATM. Rituraj says a financial institution. Pratham says finance. Okay. Rupa says money ATM. Okay. So first sentence was she sat near the bank and watched the water. In the second, it was he went to the bank to withdraw money. Right? So you're correct. For the first one, this is the river edge, and for the sentence B, it is financial institution. Right? So now see the next one. Tell me. This we have discussed already. So let's skip it. The first one is the mammal, and the second is the sport. Let's move to the third. Tell me here, there is no hint. Give me two meanings where light can be used. Give me two meanings of a single word light in the chat. Okay, Pratham says one answer. Weight. Okay. John says lightweight, light, what we see or perceive. Okay. Rituraj, a packet of something. And second is something not heavy. Rupa says energy and the weight. Pratham says visual. Soham says hope and electricity. So light does not mean hope in any sense. Your electricity answer is somewhat correct. Sandesh says light makes things visible, lightweight, light in color also, light blue it could be. Light from torch, Pramod says light from torch and lightweight, right? So most of you have answered two things. One is your light, it could be sunlight, light from torch, or light from a tube light or anywhere. And the second you have mentioned lightweight in terms of heavy and the light, right? So let's see, you are correct. So first is light, that is the illumination, and second is bag is very light. Bag is not heavy, right? Now, this is why we did this activity, because we understood that understanding the context is very important, right? Because situation matters, same words, different meanings, and pattern learning is very important for the machine, not for us, because we have intelligence wherein we can go through the context, but machine does not have. So machine has to learn the patterns to understand the context, right? Now let's move on to the next part. What is steps in the natural language processing? What steps we follow? First thing is input collection. What is input collection basically? Input collection is what data we are giving the input of. Means a system is receiving the data from anything. It could be text, messages, email, search queries, or voice assistants, audio, right? So this is the stage where human is communicating with the machine and system is not processing, it is only collecting the data from the user, right? Second, we have is text cleaning. As we discussed, whenever we receive any text, that is in the raw format, right? In this process, in text cleaning process, we will study it in the detail. In the text cleaning, what we do is using the different techniques, tokenization, lemmatization, we will see in detail right after the slide. Using different techniques, हम क्या करते हैं? We convert the raw data into a data on which we can do the analysis, or which is easy for the machine to understand. That is your text cleaning. Okay, and I would say this text cleaning step is the most important step, because क्लीन डेटा से ही हमारे रिजल्ट्स एक्यूरेट आते हैं, और एज वी स्टडीड इन द प्रीवियस सेशन, गुड इनपुट इज इक्वल टू गुड आउटपुट, राइट? सो आपका डेटा जितना क्लीन होगा, जितना अच्छा होगा, उतनी ही आउटपुट अच्छा है, राइट? थर्ड स्टेप इज you are understanding the meaning, means understanding the context, understanding which part, which speech is used, which verbs are used, which prepositions are used, where names are used, where location is used, right? Understanding the intent, context, and relationship between the different words, that is the understanding meaning part. And last is your response generation, जहाँ पे सिस्टम लैंग्वेज को समझ लेता है, एक अप्रोप्रिएट आउटपुट जनरेट करता है, और या आउटपुट कुछ भी हो सकता है. इट कुड बी अ आंसर, इट कुड बी अ ट्रांसलेशन, इट कुड बी अ रिकमेंडेशन, इट कुड बी अ एक्शन विच अ सिस्टम हैज परफॉर्म्ड. राइट. जैसे चैटबॉट क्या करता है, रिप्लाई करता है. राइट. वॉइस असिस्टेंट क्या करता है, आपको रिस्पॉन्स देता है. गूगल ट्रांसलेट क्या करता है, वो ट्रांसलेट करके आपको टेक्स्ट दिखा देता है स्क्रीन पे. राइट. सो these were the four steps which we will see one by one. Now let's move on to the first part, that is tokenization. What is tokenization? See, if I have a large, you can say, sentence, what we do, for example, if I give you a two-page document, what you will do? You will divide it into sections, or usually what we do in today's terms, we upload it to the chat GPT and we tell it to give us the pointers, right? That is how we understand a large text. But how machines understand is they apply a technique called as tokenization. Tokenization means when we are breaking the sentences or big data into the smaller parts, and these smaller parts are called as tokens. जो चैट जीपीटी के भी टर्म्स में क्या है, सेम टोकन्स. इफ यू नो, इफ यू गो विद द पेड वर्जन ऑफ चैट जीपीटी, जेमिनी और एनीथिंग, यू आर बिल्ड एज पर द टोकन्स यू आर यूजिंग. आप जितने टोकन्स यूज कर रहे हो उसके हिसाब से आपका बिलिंग अमाउंट आता है, उसके हिसाब से आपकी सब्सक्रिप्शन आती है. राइट. सो ये टोकन्स है क्या? टोकन्स आपके होते हैं जो स्मॉल पार्ट्स है, वर्ड्स है आपके, जो हर मॉडल डिफरेंट टोकनाइजेशन यूज करता है. कुछ वर्ड टोकनाइजेशन करता है, कुछ सेंटेंस टोकनाइजेशन करता है, some systems do character tokenization. Right. So if I have a line, this is a sample text, this is a sample text. If it is divided into different words, this is called as tokenization. Right. So let's see. Let me. Okay, so why do we need tokenization? As I said, that computers cannot understand the full sentence at once. Language, to make it computers understand your language or large data, we have to divide it into smaller parts so that your system can understand the context and the important words, right? So, because first step is giving the input, and after that, the first step is the computer is understanding your language, right? So let's see one visualizer of tokenization. Scan this QR code. Now we know what tokenization is. Now we know why we need it. So we will see through this visualizer that how it is done. Once you are done with the scanning part, mention done in the chat. Okay, I have shared the link. Once open, mention done in the chat. I can see few of the dones already. Okay, as you can see here, first, this is the page which you will see when you will open the tokenizer. Okay, I can see a lot of done. Now focus on it. Now here you can enter a text which you want to tokenize, right? And if I click, there is a dummy text which is already written, right? I can remove this for now. Let's remove the second line and click on tokenize. Now you can see, observe carefully, there are different models which is on your screen, GPT-2, BERT, T5, right? What difference you see in all the three outputs you receive? What difference you saw? Token size is not uniform. Some are 3, some 1. Okay. Ruturaj says, others, what difference you saw in this? You can see some difference in this? Tell me the difference you can see in this. Let me see the chart. Okay, wait a minute. T5 मनाली से T5 में ब्लॉक का कलर चेंज हो गया. ओके. Others, what difference you can see? Himanshi says the language type and the symbol. Okay. Yashasvi says color. Arjun says upper and lower spelling. Okay. Pratham says corrector count. Okay. Great observation, everyone. Pramod says token count is different. Great. Manali says fox box ka bhi and spelling. Okay. Rupa says vocabulary is different. Okay. So, as I stated, your responses, multiple responses, which you all gave me, right? So, you can see first thing, first difference. Every model has a different vocabulary size, right? One is 12, your GPT-2 is 50,000 to 57 words, here 30,000, here 32,000, right? Now, other thing, your every model is having different type of token. As I said, that every model uses different type of tokenization. Some is sentence, some is word, some is character, right? So here your GPT-2 is trained on BPE tokenization. Similarly, as you can see here, your GPT-2 uses BPE, your BERT uses word piece, and your T5 uses sentence piece. So different model is using different algorithms. So according to different models, here GPT-2, you can see similar sentence is tokenized wherein dot is a different word. You can see how many tokens we are getting. That here we have these tokenizers for this, right? So we have 10 tokens in this. In BERT, it is also a word piece tokenizer as GPT-2. So we are getting 10 tokens in this also. In T5, T5 is a sentence piece tokenizer. So it is also considering it the space. It is also considering the dot, right? So it is having 12 tokens in total, right? So basically what means here is your every model sorry, where every model is using different algorithm at the back end. Give me a minute. Okay, so I am back. So what we were discussing that where every model is using different algorithm, and each algorithm is trained on different tokenization technique, right? So here only three are compared. As we can see, some are on word tokenization, some are on sentence tokenization. Okay. So this was the part of tokenization in which we were breaking. If I write here, the product is amazing. Sorry. And if I click on tokenize, now you see, we are getting 5 tokens for each. Now, if I say, but UI is bad. Now we have 9 tokens in BERT. We have 11 tokens in T5, right? So the similar sentence can be broken down into the different tokens depending upon the algorithm and the model which we are using. Because every model will understand the language in different manner. Okay, so let's get back to our PPT. So everyone understood what tokenization is? Everyone tried this? Everyone tried this? Let me know in the chat if you are done. Okay. Done, done. I can see some done. Okay, also I can see one of the student is not able to see my screen. I think it is visible to others. So if it is not visible to you, please check your internet connection for the same. Let's move on to the next. So next, once your tokenization is done, tokenization means you are converting your long sentences into words or simple breaking down into the small words or the characters, right? Now the second thing is converting your word into the simplified version. Now what does the simplified version means? For converting your complex words into the simple version, we have two things. One is your lemmatization, other is your stemming. What we mean by lemmatization and stemming, it is a very simple concept. Simple concept in the sense that here we are converting our word into the root word. Root word means base word, right? So both the techniques are doing the same thing, but in some different ways. What different way? In stemming, what is happening? If I have this three, four words, change, changer, changes, changed, changing. Now, if I apply stemming to it, what it will do? It will convert each word into this stem word, root word. Means it will remove er, ed, es from the back, and it would fetch only the root word. That is what stemming do, right? Irrespective of what it is meaning. Now, changes is different, changer is different in meaning, and changing is different in meaning, right? Now, if we go with the lemmatization, and this root word has no meaning in itself, right? So, stemming automatically cuts the back part or the back part of your word. Now, what is lemmatization? Lemmatization is the advanced part of your stemming, wherein it converts into the root word but also retains its context. What is the context of the word? Now these words, if we apply lemmatization, changes into a gets converted into a root word as change. Now change itself is having some meaning, right? But this chang is having no meaning, it is just converting to the base form. So here both the techniques basically is converting your words to the simplified or the root word of theirs, but one is looking for no context, and the other is the advanced one which sees the context of the word also, right? So this is the second technique after tokenization what we do. Now let's see what is cleaning language data means why cleaning matters. What do you think why cleaning matters? Tell me in the chat, what do you think why cleaning matters? Why cleaning matters? Okay, Ruturaj says transmitting data is costly, only transmit the crux. Right. As we discussed already, that there is a lot of raw data, unnecessary data when we fetch a data or when we download a data. Right. Pratham, you are right, avoiding redundant data. Right. Removing unnecessary words, removing symbols, and getting your text into some standard format, so or preparing it for understanding. That is why cleaning matters for understanding, right? Let's see how machines learn language. uh, right, we are understanding that first thing to makes machine understand the language was dividing it into the tokens using tokenizers. Second was stemming and lemmatization, right? Now we will see this later. Let's move on to uh after we have done this. Now the main concept comes in the applications and what can NLP do or what is NLP doing. So we will see that now. So how your NLP machines are learning is from when we are converting into the root word, we are converting into the base word. That is done. After that, what happens? Your training is done, your continuous practice is done, as we were doing in the deep learning and the machine learning part. That Learning from the examples, fetching the patterns was being done through training the model, right? And the major part in the NLP machines is improvement, improvement through our feedback. For example, if you are using a chat GPT, right, you get some response from the chat GPT and it is not relevant. What you tell chat GPT, what you give in response, that this response is not relevant, give me something else, right? This is what you answer. So automatically what happens is chat GPT changes your response and gives you a better response to it. That is how chat GPT is learning from your feedback. Similarly, NLP machines do the same, right? And major thing, the amount of data, why LLMs, Chat GPT, Gemini is so much in trend. Reason being, they are trained on large millions and trillions of data. They are and as the amount of data is increasing, the accuracy of the LLM also increases, or any model increases. So more data automatically means better understanding, right? So let's see what can NLP basically do. First thing, it can translate languages as we already saw. It can detect your emotions, feelings in the text, which we till now we were assuming that NLP has no feelings, NLP cannot understand the context. Not NLP, I would say we were discussing that machines, it's difficult for machines to understand the context, right? But now we will see it can detect your emotions, it can understand the context. And also it can help us in text to speech or speech to text translations. Right. So first, let's go one by one. So first one is your language translation, wherein we are converting text to some other language, maintaining the meaning of the original message. Right. So let's see one translator. Scan this QR code. Once done, mention done in the chat. Let me share the link also. When you click on open translator, it will open the translator. This translation you might have seen on Google also and other applications also. This is one of the application wherein we type anything. Hello, how are you? So here I have selected English to Spanish, right? Now you can see it has a good vocab wherein there are all languages written. If I write, let's select English here because I know English. Now here let's see Malayalam. Okay, so it has converted to Malayalam. Similarly, you can use the voice options from here. And for example, you are chatting with some person who knows Malayalam only, not English. You can write something here, or you can copy paste the content here. It gets converted to Malayalam, and you can copy paste it and send it to the concerned person, right? So, and you can reverse it also. If you have some files you want to do the translation of, you can do that also from here, right? So will you try this language translator? If you have done, mention done in the chat, then we will move forward. If you are done, mention done in the chat, then we will move forward. That is for you to test the language translation. Okay, I can see done. Done, 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 done. Okay. Okay, so let's move. Now, the second thing in which we were discussing about the opinions and the emotions of our language. So, how, in which application it is used in sentiment analysis, wherein when we give some review, we give some feedback, or when we are tracking some brand reputation or a startup reputation, or we are monitoring some social media post. In that, we use the NLP for sentiment analysis purpose. Okay, so let's see a sentiment analysis application. Scan this QR code. Let me share the link for this also. Here is the link. Others can scan it via code. Once you are done with the scanning part, mention done in the chat, then I will move on to the practical of this. Once you are done with the scanning, mention done in the chat. Okay, I can see done, done, done. Okay, let's move on to this. So basically, as you can see, here we have two models. One is on rule-based system, other is transformer model, right? And we will see the sentiment analysis through both. Tanu, okay, if you have done, let's see. For example, if I write the product is amazing, let's click on analyze, analyze sentiment. So overall for rule based also it is giving positive 50%. For transformer it is giving me 100% positive response, right? Now let's see, but user interface is not that good. Analyze. Now you can see what it is doing. Your rule based system is giving overall sentiment as positive 22%, and overall sentiment transformer is giving negative 100%, right? So models disagree. अब रूल बेस्ड सिस्टम ने हमें क्या बताया, पॉजिटिव सेंटिमेंट है, ट्रांसफॉर्मर में बताया नेगेटिव है, ठीक है। टोटल इम्पैक्ट हमारा किस वर्ड का कितना है, अब देखो हियर व्हाट इट इज डन, it is converting whole sentence into the words, then seeing the impact. Your positive word is one amazing and second positive word is good, right? What is your negative words here is not that good. That is your negative word. So how, now see, the accuracy of different models are different. Your transformer is much more accurate and rule based is almost accurate. Reason being उसने positive बताया है, but only 22% positive बताया. It has not said it is a 100% positive comment, right? Now if I write the product is worst, sorry, is not the is worst. Now what has happened? Overall, negative for both. Rule based is saying 50% negative. Overall sentiment for transformer is overall 100% negative, right? So this is how your sentiment analysis in real world also works. There are some examples also. You can go check and practice through this also, like intensified plus if there is a emoji, how your models work in that case, or if some mixed contrast is there, how models work in that case, right? So this is one of the application of your NLP, and the accuracy would depend on what you can say is model to model. Done. Completed. Trying. If you are done, let's move ahead. Mention done in the chat. Manali says done. Pramod says done. Ruturaj says done. Okay. Nikita says done. Okay, I can see a lot of done. Let's move ahead. So there was text to speech which we discussed. Let's see application of text to speech also. Let me share the link. Rest of you can scan by the time I'm sharing the link for the others. You can scan through the code, everyone. Let's see the application of text to speech as well. Pausing for 30 seconds more so that everyone can scan. Then we will move forward. Okay, so let's see here if I input any text. For example, same text I'm inputting, or I can say, I love AI and I want to know more about advanced techniques. Okay, if I say this and I can select a voice here, you can see we have multiple options for voices. You can select any, right? You can select any. I'm selecting simple. I'm selecting randomly, and then you can select the speech rate, pitch adjustment, and you can generate the speech. Now, as you can see here, the speech is being generated. Now it is being converted to this voice. Now, if I change a voice in some other language, it would be converted in that language. Now, see how fast it is generating a particular audio, and you can also download this audio if you want to use it somewhere, right? So, in how you can use it as a student, if you have a long document, that this option is there in notebook LLM also. If you have a long document, you can upload it here, you can convert it to the audio, and you can listen to that document while you are traveling if you don't have the time to read it, right? Or if you are generating some content and you have a written scripts of it and you want to convert it to audio and use in content generation, you can use that also, right? So here your text, simple language, is understood by the machine and is converted to a audio. That is your text to speech converter. And what is speech to text? That is your normal voice assistant, where your speech is converted to a text format. Like you speak in the Google, that is converted to a text in the Google search bar, right? Let's move on to the next. Done till here, everyone? Okay. Okay, I can see. Done, done. Okay. Let's move on to the next. So next we have part of speech tagging. As I said, you were doing the tokenization. You were converting your sentences into the root words. Now the third thing is part of speech tagging. Part of speech tagging means wherein we are seeing which word is a proverb, which word is a noun, which word is a preposition, which word is a proverb, right? So, which helps a machine to understand the role of each word in a sentence, assigning the grammatical labels to the words. That is what part of speech tagging is, right? So, let's see a practical of it also. Scan this QR code, scan this QR code. Let me share the link also. Okay. Once everyone has opened, mention done in the chat because this is a important one. Once you are on the page of the application, mention done on the chat. Mode says done. Rest of you quickly scan the code or you can use the link which is shared. So here we have one inbuilt sentence already mentioned here. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now if I say analyze the text. Let's use this, then we will see with other also. Now, this part of speech tagging has converted your every word into different grammar terms: determiner, adjective, noun, preposition, right? So unique tags, how much it has given? Let me wait. So unique tags are five. We have five tags in which all your words of the sentence relies. Now let's have some passage. Wait a minute. Let's have some random passage. Analyze. Now see, it is a big passage. So I have taken this. Now see, now this every word. First of all, what is shown here? Your whole sentence is broken down into the words. First of all. Second thing, your every word is categorized or labeled with a grammar term. Either it is a preposition, value, noun, whatever it is, right? So this tagging of your words to a grammatical labels is called as part of speech tagging, right? Now after this, as I move on to the dependency, there is an option of POS tagging, dependency tree, arc diagram, neighboring identities. So I'm moving on to the dependency tree. Give it some time. Yeah, see. So whatever we saw here in the type of sentence that is uh, converted to a tree, like we studied a dependent decision tree, right? So this is called as a dependency tree, where what machine is trying to do? Machine is trying to see the dependency of each word in terms of the other word. If I click on any word, you can see the leak word has POS tag as noun and it has dependency on POBJ. Right. So let's see some other word. So now born word is the verb and it is a root word. Right. And dependence means this is the main word. Every other word is related to this root word, that is born. So what it is basically doing, it is seeing that which word is holding how much importance and how the different words are related. That is called as dependency tree. See, so we saw two concepts here, POS tagging and dependency tree. Now let's see, you can leave the arc diagram for now. Let's go to the third concept. Third concept is named entities. So what is named entities is, as I see that NLP can also look at in a sentence which word is a place, which word is a name, which word is a date, and other things, right? So named entity. Now this is called as named entity recognition. Technique is called as named entity recognition. This is a technique name. As we saw, POS part of speech tagging. This technique is called as named entity recognition, in which what we are doing, we are tagging every name, every word to a entity. How? Let's see. We have total 14 entities. We have three people names here, right? Three people names here. We have one place. We have two organization. We have zero dates. And person is highlighted if in blue. These are the person names. And green we have is Norway is the place. Organization is in orange. And date is in purple. And value number, this pink is a number itself. If I would have written it simultaneously, it would recognize it as a date also, and others are miscellaneous, right? So what it is basically doing, it is labeling, or it is finding the entity of every word. So in the single practical, or in the single example, what we saw is, we saw three concepts. One is part of speech tagging, other we saw is the dependency tree, and the third we saw is named entity recognition. So if you want, you can change the paragraph and see, try. See, now it is giving different dependency tree, different POS tagging, and different named entities. So clear? Means if you have in if you are on the same page, if you are clear with this, mention done in the chat so that we can move forward. Let me see the chat. If you are done, I can see some of the done. Rituraj says done. Soham says done. Others. Himanshi says done. John. Okay, it was an earlier message. Pramod says done. Great. Nikita says done. Pratham says done. Okay, so till here we have studied 3 to 4 concepts. One was your tokenization, other was your stemming limitization, then third is your POS tagging, and fourth is your named entity recognition, right? So let's move further. What is the benefits of NLP? So what we saw earlier, this is the same what uh, we discussed why NLP is important. These are the same things for faster communication, task automation, saving the time, increasing the efficiency, and better experience. So I'm not taking much time here. Let's move on to the current limitations of NLP. What are the current limitations? First thing we already discussed, that complex sentences means right now also, as you can see that there were in different applications, there can be cases in which we can have different machine can understand different meaning. Some are considering dot, some are considering space, some may not consider that. So complex sentences and machines may misunderstand those due to the language structure, right? Second is training data dependency. Means as you can see that with every model we were in sentiment analysis also, we were getting different sentiment reviewed, right? And the percentage of it was also different. Similarly in tokenization also it was same, that your vocab size was different. What was the vocab size? On which, how much data, on how much vocabulary your machine was trained, right? So quality depends heavily on the input data, which we discussed in the middle of the session also, that why LLMs are updating, why your models are updating, because the amount of data on which they are trained is automatically increasing. And as you increase the amount of input data, your quality of the output also increases, right? So quality depends heavily on the input data. Third thing, common sense gap. For example, if we are talking, if right now we are talking, you are listening to me, you are interacting with me, so you have a full understanding of in which context I am telling you a particular concept, if I am in which context I am explaining you POS tagging, right? But the machine does not have the full context of the real world scenarios. Means if I ask for Bharat cares only, so machine only knows the information which is already given to it, right, or which I am providing. So there can be a gap between the understand, and I am asking from the same machine some questions related to Bharat cares, right? So it there can be a gap between machine and me, on which machine will be able to understand me as per the real case scenario or real case real world knowledge, right? So there is a common sense gap between us. And the fourth is cultural context. So machines usually struggles with the cultural references, right? So these are the current limitations as of now. What is the future of NLP? You tell me, what is the future of NLP? You tell me what you think is the future of NLP in the chat. Then I will show you. What do you think is the future of NLP? Okay, let's discuss. So we have limited time also. Like future of NLP basically is that machines will start understanding us if we keep on giving more data, if we keep on making machines understand the human language. Eventually machine will talk like humans. There would be a better understanding, deeper context comprehension. There would be multilingual power, means cross language communication could be done. A person sitting in Germany could be able to understand me if I'm speaking in English and he does not know English. That could be also done, right? And smarter systems. Let me get back. Wait a minute. Let's go on to the slide. Yes, we were here. Then fourth is multilingual power, that a person sitting in Germany can understand me if he or she does not know Germany, then also German language, then sorry, English language, then also he or she can understand me by using multilingual power, by using translator, by using some application, by using subtitles, different things are there, right? So it eventually creates the seamless cross language communication possibility. And the last is smarter assistant, that we would have AI companions with us. We are now also we are having that, right? So that is in the advanced technology phase already. So it would be more, we can have more better AI companions in the future, right? So that is the future of NLP. So if we talk about one of the application, that is the customer support agents. So the challenge usually company receives, which we discussed also, that company receives thousands of queries daily, and NLP solution is understanding the customer queries instantly, providing the accurate responses, and handling the responses in the human format, right? So automatically human workload is reduced and efficiency is increased. That is how customer is helping. So right now you need not to scan this. We will be building this chatbot in the next session. So there is no need to scan it for now. I'm keeping it for the next session. As you will be building the chatbots, you will be building the applications in the next Gen AI session. To be prepared for that, that how you can build chatbots and how you can not only communicate with that as a user end customer, but also you can create it, right? With no code, right? So how NLP impacts our life, we already know. We It is helping us to find the answers quickly. We are able to communicate globally. It is helping in us in education also, and in many more ways, right? And NLP in social media, we already discussed it, that for example in Instagram, if we see any inappropriate content, if we see any violent content, it automatically highlights it. If it can detect any hate speech, it can detect a harmful content automatically. It analyzes the comments, right? So NLP is understanding in the social media terms the people's emotions and the opinions online, right? That is where NLP is working in social media. How it is helping in email systems? By seeing which emails are unwanted and categorizing it into the spam, and which emails are not unwanted and dropping it into the inbox section. That is your NLP in email systems. Similarly, in online shopping, recommending the products, understanding what reviews we are giving, and also going through our feedbacks and improving the services, right? That is analyzing the feedback and improving search, that we have already discussed, that if we type something on Google, we get the next word prediction, or we are what we want to search. If I write I want to eat or what to eat, I get something related to eating, right? Now, in healthcare, it is helping us to analyze the reports. It is helping us to extract the information and helping in diagnosis also, right? If I give some patient's history data, right? So it can organize, it can analyze and give me a report out of it automatically by going through the patient's previous historical data. That is how it is transforming medical as a helper. Now, let's see all these examples. You can scan this, or I will, it is just for the showcase. You can see the screen only. This is not any demo. So this is to show you that in how many domains you can visit this site. In this, there are lot of NLP demos and notebooks wherein, like you can see, if in medical large language models, in drug event detection, in social determinants of health. These are the real world applications in which NLP is already there. If I open one, if let's open a live demo. So see, here you can choose the task what you want to do, right? It is a medical close-ended question answering application. You can choose the model on which it is trained. We have two models. You can tell the context and This is the backend of your model. So when you also design any machine, you give some instruction. This you will learn in the next class, what is prompt, how you give prompt, or how you give effective prompts so that your applications gives the best accuracy. That you will learn in the next session. So this was to showcase that you can see how vast NLP has gone, and already it is there in the real world applications, right? So that's all. Let's move on to the last part of today. That is quickly fill out this inline form. Scan the QR code, fill out the inline form. Once done, mention done in the chat. After that, I would be taking all your queries and we would wind up for today. Everyone, scan the QR code. Once done, mention done in the chat. This is a compulsory form, so don't skip it. Make sure you fill it. Hope everyone is able to scan. Okay, Ruturaj is done. Pizza is done. Others will also be quick. Muhammad is saying how to do it. You just have to scan this form through phone and fill out the form. Soham says done. John says done. Great. And the ones who are not able to scan, the link is in the chat. You can go through the link also. You can fill the form via link also. Stefan, the link is given in the chat. You can try with that, or you can scan the QR code. Both will work. So I can see many of you has completed. Rest of you, I'm waiting for the next. Diksha, the link is already there in the chat. You can check. Okay, Purnima done, Manju done. Great. Okay, I can see a lot of people has done. Let's move. So today what we understood that how computers process and understand the human language via NLP, how NLP helps in enabling the communication between humans and the machines, and what are the different processes through the NLP pipeline, right? And we also saw that how technology is evolving and improving day by day, right? So that's it for today from my end. I am open for all your queries for next 2 minutes. You can, if you have any queries, you can mention in the chat. I'm there to answer that. Mohammed, thank you. Excellent session, ma'am. Thank you. Ruturaj, if you have attended the previous batch, you have missed multiple sessions. You can attend the sessions which you have missed. It's of, there is no problem in that. Pratham, have a nice day, you too. Others. Fiza, thank you. Okay, so Uttaraj, thank you. Okay, I'm stopping my screen sharing. Okay, I can see there are no such queries. Thank you so much for today. Let's see you in the next session. Have a nice day. Bye bye, everyone.